I was so excited about stepping into the grapevine, I accidentally played the wrong music bed. But hey, we're only human. I guess I'm also in a holiday mood, even though I'm here in the studio, not at home, putting my feet up and relaxing. Hey, it happens. It shows that we're only human at the end of the day. Anyways, it is a Tuesday morning, 19 minutes past 8 a.m. Ayokunmi here, ready to walk with you hand in hand into the grapevine. It's all about entertainment, gist, and everything in between. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show every Tuesday and Thursday. This is what we get up to at this time, 8:15. So you need to make a date if you haven't up until this point. And it's interactive as always. So that means you get to join us on the show, sending your thoughts, your messages in via WhatsApp. The number is 0809 444 0981 0809 444 We're also on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Those are the ways you can join me or join us. I beg your pardon. How rude of me. I'm not the only one on the show this morning. Of course, you know it's a Tuesday. So the one and only Irabor 1 billion is on the show. Irabor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ayo. You know you're a one-man army now, so even if I'm not here, you can carry it. So I'm not even bothered in the least.
But Irabor, you know that sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Because say light they don't mean say go on gen.
You understand. You
I get
understand.
you.
See, I should write a book of all these sayings. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. Anyways,
You
let's
know
leave
that
that.
meme when women will do like this, they'll do they'll not be snapping their fingers.
Don't leave me.
Don't leave me, don't leave me.
Anyways, stepping into the nitty-gritty of the conversation this morning, a couple of things that we'll just bite into here and there, here and there. Let's start with Kunle Afolayan. Um, he's taken to social media to unveil a 115-seater cinema. He shared a video of himself in the company of Sheyi Vodi, former leadership governorship aspirant as well, Jando, and others on a tour of the facility. Now, he revealed that the facility will be called the Kunle Afolayan Cinema. And I mean, big one for him there. And just to add to his major milestones, earlier on in the year in April, he officially launched the KAP Village, Cap Village and Resort in Ibujae. That's a Tesiwaji local government area of Oyo State. That facility spans over 60 acres, serves as a hub for film production, cultural tourism, training as well. So Kunle Afolayan doing a whole lot in terms of the movie and the big screen scene in Nigeria. Now, he's added this to his list of accomplishments, the 115-seater cinema. Irabel, looking at what Kunle Afolayan has done here, what he's trying to do in terms of the movie industry, I mean, is he one of those you can say, okay, this person is making strides in order to take Nigerian movie scene from A to A plus 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 at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of gaps that need to be filled in the industry,
Yeah.
Nollywood and, music, and in fact, every other industry. So whenever pioneers, stakeholders are looking to use their name or even invest directly, into certain things that can help bridge that gap, I'm always all for it. You can have an issue with the person's movie, doesn't mean you have an issue with the person or their craft in general, or just, critiquing that particular work, which is something I want stakeholders to kind of understand. That if somebody is coming
Right.
for a particular work, it's not the person coming for your entire, discography or filmography. It's just who you are. You understand? But that product itself. So, for this one, I think what Kunle Afolayan continues to do is set the tone for how legacy, brand equity, and infrastructure intersect. And in this case, in Nollywood, to me, this isn't just a cinema, it's a blueprint for creative ownership. I mean, naming it after him is symbolic. Our industry must normalize honoring contributors who, are still in the building, not giving flowers when it's on the tombstone or something else like that.
True.
But ultimately, I think this reminds us that impact must outlive content. It's one thing to make films, it's another to contribute to the ecosystem with like physical spaces, training, and platforms. And that's what Kunle has done. You cannot take it away from him.
Definitely. I mean, looking at what he's done so far, I mean, we have Kunle Afolayan doing big things, Mwabudu as well, and so many other people. But when you look at the state of the movie scene in Nigeria, Irabor, and looking at your experiences and what you've seen, I mean, all around the world and everything, how much more do we need to do before we can begin to say, oh, we can even try to rub our shoulders with the top dogs when it comes to movie making and the movie scene generally?
Mm. So you know me already. You know, we always joke Irabor 100, Irabor 1 billion. So now people may think I'm blunt. I'm not trying to be blunt. It's just that if we're looking to solve a problem
Yeah.
permanently, sustainably, innovatively, we have to really be honest, except we're just trying to kid around. So this answer is what I think it should be, and anybody can debate it. No matter how many cinemas we are going to put out, whether Kunle Afolayan releases 1 billion cinemas, it's not going to be sustainable long term because of the economic ecosystem in Nigeria. We need to fix certain things for these solutions that we want to put out to work and thrive and be sustainable and be innovative. If we don't fix our electricity problem, we are not going to get more cinemas. The average guy who is business savvy that wants to bring different investors together to build a cinema would find it difficult if they don't have personality equity, if they don't have equity in certain areas, and
Okay.
the overhead is going to clip them. There are certain cinema chains in Nigeria that have started at some branches, but they've had to close those branches. Now, these cinema chains are big names, though, don't get me wrong, but they can't keep up because of the economic situation, the location as well, because that same economic situation is affecting that location. People are migrating from one place to another place. People, they jackpot this. So if you really look at it, that's how I try to fix problems. We can create platforms, movies, and please don't get me wrong. Those who are doing it, I am not saying that they are, in a losing game. I mean, Iroko did their best, and they eventually realized that it was content over streaming, because who is going to pay for the streaming at the end
Yeah,
of the day? That's where
exactly.
you now be like, okay, instead of an individual bringing investors, let's now, the government, the people who are in place, come in and say, okay, we want to play around in this thing, meet the players and say, what do we necessarily need to do? And those who are even interested in playing from the government, they too need to be savvy and smart to understand the ecosystem. Because if you look at it, even let's go to radio, let's go to TV, let's go to businesses. Businesses are suffering because of electricity. Businesses are suffering because of the cost of fuel. When people will come out with the silly argument that, oh, other African countries buy fuel at a higher rate or other countries buy fuel, I'm like, are you looking at GDP per capita? Are you looking at the economics of scale? Like, when people just come out with a sound bite, it's like, are you trying to just trend, or are you trying to be, I like using the word sometimes, stupid. So we need to fix certain things first. I'm not lying, because even then, when we were doing cinema and all that, people were still buying fuel. Electricity was what it was. They were still trying to make it work because exchange rate wasn't what it is. The cost of fuel
Yeah.
wasn't what it is. At least you were still seeing profit. But now things have just gone to another level where you're just like, we are a ticking time bomb. But again, please don't get me wrong, and I stand corrected. Let's see, maybe if many more cinemas come, we can try to bridge the gap. Maybe because of distance, people can want to, access cinema or whatever. I don't know. But I feel if we really, really want to answer your question that you asked, the foundational things that require for a society to thrive, electricity, telecoms, transportation, all those basic amenities need to be sorted. They need to be sorted out. That's why if a movie doesn't do well abroad, it's because of the movie, or it's because of the movie was created for an audience that wasn't buoyant enough or wasn't there enough. But it's not because of say they don't have cinema or they don't have a distribution channel. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
what we need to fix first. And we also need to fix the content. We also need to have so it's
Oh,
plenty.
that is huge. That also
It's
that
plenty.
that issue of content also, because you see some things and you wonder what thought process went into this particular project. All those other factors aside, though, but that content as well. Hmm.
So that's it now. Who go one watch film when they never chop?
That's the last thing on the hungry man's mind. Really and
Uh,
truly. All right,
uh,
all right, Irabor. Thank you for putting it so very succinctly. Let's take a very quick break. I don't want to dive into this next story here about Ashake right now because I would have to break in between, and I want Irabor to dive right into it without any interruptions whatsoever. You also get to share your thoughts on the issues this morning. WhatsApp number is 0809 440 981. The Grapevine will be back on the other side. Keep it tuned. Cinema safe I never go to 2021.
share you they see. You never go since 2021. I know some people who have not even stepped to cinema 2019, since 2019. A cinema ticket now is between 7.5 to 8.5, like one, depending on the location. 7,005 to 8.5. That 7.5 now waiting you go carry enter cinema in 2019, you go do okay for you and your partner.
Yes,
plus
now.
popcorn. Plus popcorn, no.
Everything. That money now just for one ticket, too.
Now your Cuba money going, depending on where you're coming from. 10K you can spend going, you can spend 10K coming back, 20K. So you spend like 50 plus on one cinema. You can't watch more than one film now.
Yes, now. There was a time. That you go to the cinema, you watch two movies that same day.
Yes,
you finish
now.
one. You finish one,
Ozone
come
was
out.
500 naira now. 500 naira at that time.
I
The premium
remember
cinema ticket
I
was
remember
1.5.
I remember one time years ago. I went to Ozone. I was supposed to meet up with one bitch. I was supposed to just meet up, chill and everything. Now so movie time, she never come. I shall enter. I go watch the film. She didn't show up. I now came out again. She was like, "Oh, that she's right. She's coming once, once.
You watch
She no
another
come.
film.
I watch another film. Oh. At the end of the day, she still no come. I vex Wakase. I don't do myself
Nothing
today.
concern me, concern you.
But I was able to watch two movies without,
Breaking a sweat.
breaking a sweat at that point in time.
And that's what it's supposed to be. People should be able to acquire those things without killing themselves.
That's the thing. But like
But
you
not
said,
lie.
we're in such a situation that the basic things are not there. I mean, looking at
Yeah.
okay, you're spending 7.5 to buy one movie ticket. That 7.5, when as a hungry person, you can think, oh, money 7.5. If I find maybe 1,000 ad or something, I can do this or I can do that or I can do that, as opposed to just buying the ticket alone for the movie. You haven't bought your popcorn yet, you haven't got your drink yet, and so on. I wonder how those who regularly go out, maybe with friends or lady friends and all that, how they're able to cope. Because looking at the
Bruh.
in question,
Bruh. Bruh. I don't know. I don't know.
it's scary, man. All right, remain small. We'll be back in. That's right. For intelligent talk, music that puts you in the mood and the best gist and conversation in the world of entertainment. This is where you need to be. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. 33 minutes past 8 a.m. on a Tuesday. Welcome back into the Grapevine. Yes, Ayokunmi and of course Irabor 1 billion are having conversations surrounding that particular space, entertainment, gist, and everything. So please do join us. We love to always hear from you. All you need to do is to send your messages in to us on WhatsApp or join the live stream on YouTube. Now, the WhatsApp number, in case you don't know or in case you don't have it, it is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. Also on YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Right. Irabor, let's dive back into the stories here. And I mentioned before the break that we're going to be talking about Ashake. Now, Yemisi Falaye, an entertainment lawyer, has revealed why Ahmed Ololade, we know him as Ashake, parted ways with Olamide's record label YBNL Nation. Now, if you remember, reports of Ashake and Olamide parting ways surfaced last December when it was reported that Ashake had been allowed to leave the label under a termination agreement. And in February, Ashake Oba confirmed his separation from Olamide when he launched his own label. It seems like launching a label is the next thing to actually do, Gima Republic. However, shedding light on the separation and the kind of contract that Ashake signed with YBNL, Falaye revealed that the singer left because he felt cheated. Now, Falaye actually traced the origin of the fallout to when Ashake decided against her legal advice not to sign the contract that was given to him at the very beginning. She more or less explained that, Ashake, of course, he had been in the music industry for a while. There was no breakthrough. Now, he rushed to sign the contract despite her legal advice. And it was just because he was excited that finally, after all my years in the wilderness, I've been noticed and I'm going to be signed to a major label. Now, she said that Ashake actually brought the contract to her attention. She advised him on it, but he decided against her advice and still went ahead anyways to sign the contract. Now, Irabor, this is something that we've seen at different points, different artists, different labels, this issue of contracts, the fine print, and so on and so forth. Are we ever going to get to a point where we begin to have less of these conversations? Because, to a degree, I can understand where Ashake came from. After being around for such a long time and then, boom, a deal came. Could it have felt like, if I don't sign this thing, they can decide to take it away and I'm back to where I started? Could that have been the thinking? And how can we get around these issues where musical contracts are actually not jumped into, they're vetted properly? Irabor?
So I feel that, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel that Ashake's story, among many others, is a masterclass in the importance of legal literacy in entertainment. In fact, in everyday life, even success should never be at the expense of ownership. This is a very cautionary tale. It's emotional desperation, and I feel in that state you should never sign legal documents. Now, even if you do sign those legal documents, I don't think you're now supposed to entirely blame the person who presents those documents to you, because you cannot succumb to that, then enjoy the benefits, then now come out and now be like, oh, I was cheated.
Are you there, Rebel?
To avoid stories that touch,
okay,
don't sign something. And I think as at today, I don't think anybody in that space would claim or feign ignorance to be like, oh, I wasn't sure. I thought I didn't read, I don't think so. I like it's 2025. You know that if you're going to sign something, it's binding. So before you sign it, why not just read it? That's why when we talk about education, like just basic education, this is what we're trying to say. So that at least even if you're a graduate university or even secondary school, like you should at least know a sentence and what it means. And if you don't know, then you have to get, advice from somewhere. And if you have that label who is trying to get you to sign it, just simply ask them to help you with a lawyer or take it. You just have to find a way around it. But you cannot sign then now cry later. I'm not, I don't understand that sequence. Olamide giving him space to me to get a lawyer, it shows a progressive business ethic. This also shows we need more structural support for rising talents. People get excited and forget that contracts outlive feelings. It's not about feelings. That's why whenever people argue with emotion and feelings, I always slap them with facts and statistics. You can have your feelings from now till tomorrow. The facts and the statistics will always prevail. So I think it's time we prioritize legal advisory in artist development. Not like as an afterthought, but as part of the onboarding process into stardom. It's something like they do in NFL and the NBA, where because they realize that a lot of players, go into debt after maybe in fact, while still active NBA players. In fact, there was an NBA player, there is an NBA player that was gambling away games, even as he's earning millions of dollars in his contract. So you just wonder what's going on with people and their reasoning these days. You really just don't understand it, because I don't get it. So again, it should be part of the onboarding process, like what the NFL is doing at the NBA, where they're trying to get financial advisors to, be with these athletes to kind of guide them to understand certain things. But at the end of the day, people still have coconut head. They will not. Have you remember those times in secondary school, even in university, where you have an open book exam and people come like, oh my, I failed. Be like, how did you fail? How did you fail? It's open book. It's there. They even told you the chapter. But you will not want to use head to, it's just like there's this thing where there's this phrase, I don't know where I saw it, where some people are so lazy that they want you to toast the babe, marry the babe. They don't even want you to put this thing inside when you want to conceive. They even want, they just want you to do everything. Nobody wants to try to say, okay.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, Irabor, I can't hear you anymore. Can you hear me? You've broken off for a bit here. Why is usually at the tail end that this tends to happen? Okay, I'll be working to get Irabor back in. I can still see him. Okay, yeah, back. You broke off for a bit. I was thinking maybe the network
I don't know the
had
last
decided.
Oh, okay. So I'm saying Ashake now is starting his own label, Abby. Now he will see how businesses are being run. Because when you're in the driver's seat, you don't really, when you were not in the driver's seat, you would not see certain things. But when you're in the driver's seat, you'd not be like, wow. Because overhead will first come. Running a business daily, such like a label, you're going to have to be running gen every day, paying light, paying staff, promotion.
Oh, yes.
You're going to be flying around. You're going to be doing so many things, music video shoots, studio bookings, so many things. So that 80% bulk you think goes to, the business owner, except, there are some business owners who would even neglect paying salaries and now be chopping them. So see, when I always say we have an excellence problem in Nigeria, this is what I'm trying to say. But I wish Ashake well. I respect Olamide because he has time after time brought talent, to the music industry. So that's why I respect Olamide from that standpoint. So now, yes, like I said, it's time we prioritize legal advisory in artist development. Not like an afterthought, like I mentioned earlier, but as part of the onboarding process into startup.
Yes, indeed. But Irabor, before we actually leave this, we've spoken from the point of view of the artists and co who have these contracts put forward to them. What do we say about the record labels, or some record labels probably, whose sole aim is to exploit and squeeze as much as they can from these artists in question?
Yeah, so the word exploit and squeeze, I just gave an example of the Wizkid and Banky situation, where I saw in news online that they said Banky earns 80% of Wizkid's first 2 albums or something like that. And
yeah, I saw
Wizkid
that,
has
yeah.
20. All right, so I'm going to be, I would say, blunt and harsh. Okay, why didn't the artist, and I'm not even naming anybody now, why didn't they have the infrastructure in place and put things in place to blow? Why did they need to sign with somebody? Somebody is taking the risk as well, gambling on the eventuality of you blowing. So yes, running a business requires overhead and costs. If you're an artist, like I said, you're going to do music video shoots. You're going to have studio bookings. You're going to do promotion. You know what it means to promote music and promote something in this, our industry, in Nigeria in general. Sure, you get what I'm saying? You're going to have your wardrobe. You're going to fly around. Transportation, you need a team. You need PA. You need so many things. And they are the ones who pick up the bulk of that. Now, that's why I said when you are signing some, so look, if you are negotiating, have you ever gone, you're going to Balogun now where you want to buy shirts, the person will assess you. You'll be like, okay, 10K. If you say, okay, 10K, and they've sold it, it's a business dealing. 10K, you said you agree. But if you say 10K, be like, no, 1K. The person, they'll either say get out or, oh yeah, bring 5K. And I'll be like, okay, for this person to go from 10 to 5, this thing is probably worth 2K. So you'll be like, okay, 1.5. So you have to do these things, except it is life or death when they put a gun to your head, though. And Baba sign, except you want to go to heaven. So that's all hell, whatever. But my point is, it's business. So the person, it is business. The aim of business is to make sure you do the work excellently and make as much profit as possible. And you also have your percentage where you give back to the society. That's how it works. Therefore, you to have more money, you have to live below your means and invest. So let's not, be emotional about realities of life. That's why I said earlier that we need to have advisory, legal advisory in the onboarding process of superstardom. In fact, any form of contract, like just have legal advisory so that when you're onboarding, it's just seamless. So that we avoid all these stories that touch. So let's not, these guys are not, they're, when I say illiterate, now like they are living, breathing people who can put at least one or two structures together and know when somebody is buying them, and they claim that they are street people. So why is legal documents confusing you now? In the sense, like, I'm not trying to be, we cannot be giving the blame to of the business only. The clients and the people who are signing these things to, they need to take accountability. Just like this man and woman situation where now the man, they take all the blame, woman zero. Do you get what I'm saying? So we need to actually be very, very honest with the situation. Yes, that's my own take.
All right, Irabor, thank you for sharing your take on that particular matter. Let me see. Tayo says, I don't wake up this public holiday. Belated birthday wishes to Angelique Kijo. Yes, indeed. He then says, I hope the lawyer is not in breach of confidentiality with all this expose. But then again, let it be known, carry your lawyer. It was when the deal wasn't favoring Ashake that he remembered that he can be emancipated. I'm sure he'll be exposed to life of an entrepreneur unless he wants to do one-man business like Wizkid. Ayo, hold your lawyer by his robe. Well, Ty, if that's the case, it's your robe I'm going to jack. So let's know exactly where it is that we are going. All right, but before we wrap it up this morning, very quickly, this feud going on between Irabor Ojo and Lizzie Anjorin. They've been talking about resorting to diabolic antics. It's because it seems like this beef going on has been reignited. It's crazy what's going on. If you remember, Irabor Ojo's office went up in flames recently, and it's just wild what's happening out there.
To me, this is no longer entertainment. So this one is dangerous because once accusations start involving spiritual warfare, legal petitions, and families, I believe we've crossed into societal rot, and we've just crossed the line in general. I think the bigger question here is how do we regulate public feuds that weaponize personal tragedy, defamation and mental health? How do we regulate it? And these aren't just celebrity spats, like they shape public behavior. That's why I always say whenever you do certain things, you just really have to be wary of your surroundings because they say it takes a village to raise kids, and that village can be contaminated. And you have people in society that are running around like headless chickens and are looking for validation, and everything just becomes what it is today that we are seeing, where you cannot even correct somebody. They will think that is it your this, is it your that? When you see someone doing bad behavior, glaring bad behavior, like, is it your behavior? Like,
is it your business?
Is it your business? Hey, oh, wow. Anyway, so I believe the industry must create conflict resolution mechanisms beyond courtrooms. Maybe an independent industry ombudsman or tribunal, maybe particularly for influencers and public personalities, like those people who we know that every day, so that the likes of Two-Face and Annie and all of them, they can come and meet us or meet the people that we are putting together for them, So let's see how it goes. But when it comes to life and death, I know they like them. So we need something that's very neutral, very independent, office or official that will be appointed to investigate and resolve all these complaints, especially between the public and organizations or even people and whatever. So that's it. Somebody that is trusted. In fact, how do we even know who is trusted as a mediator or something? I mean, that's maybe Grapevine. They should come to Grapevine. Yeah. We would have a
No, no,
sledgehammer.
no, wait, so if they're coming to Grapevine, I hope you're providing all the necessary security, all the bouncers and who will be stationed in the studio
Yeah.
because
No,
equipment is
no, we're not
expensive.
bringing anybody. No, we're not bringing anybody to the studio. Grapevine is just the platform, so they will tune in. Do you
Okay,
understand?
okay,
They will
that's
just tune
fine.
in
That's fine.
virtually.
I
Now, why
can
I know
do
they
that.
show face now on top of our streams now?
Now I can understand your thinking. Anyways, we need to wrap it up. Let me take a message. Tayo says the beef is on between Iyabo and Lizzie, especially after the failed 1 billion naira suit by Iyabo. House Combon and VDM is lurking in the corner of his phone. Stand to say, all right, okay. Ayofeda says, Kunle Afolayan are doing great things in the movie industry. As for Lizzie and Iyabo, they are two raging women going all out to destroy each other. I personally do not have any problems with it, though. What did they do to you,
They won't
Ayofela?
watch
Come
film
on.
now. Blockbuster with popcorn.
Oh, wow. All right, Xavier says, now that we have mentioned Iyabo and Lizzie's issue, I'm just thinking maybe Iyabo is seeing ahead. That's why she gave her daughter out to Juma sharp sharp so that nobody will come for her. You know what they say about
Mm,
hurting the ones you love to get to you. I wish them well.
mm.
I wish them well. That thing they are fighting for that will make them resort to diabolical means, it is well. Asun and Beer sitting and watching. Xavier just out to have the time of his life. I don't blame you on that one.
Yes, so.
Anyways, thank you all so much for all the messages. We need to wrap it up. Irabor, thank you. Big ups to you for joining me this Tuesday morning. Always a fun time with you on the radio.
Yeah, yeah, always. And as you mentioned, wrap it up. That's my advice to everybody.
Thank you for putting it so certainly, Irabor. Much appreciated. Anyways, I have to run. Thank you all once again for keeping it tuned to the Grapevine and to Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. The Smooth Breakfast kicks on. More great music coming your way to get you all sorted and feeling good on a Tuesday holiday morning.